So, Coach, Ohio State's been a long time stumbling block for this program.
Yeah, I mean, obviously I haven't beaten them since I've been here. I haven't studied too much before that, but great program. Coach Mott is someone I've really looked up to as a young coach who's did a great job everywhere he's been and has certainly built that program up to national prominence. And they're playing really well now. I mean, you look at ever since that Kentucky game, they have a really young team. They were figuring out who they had, and they had a big win over Kentucky. And since then, they've been rolling. I think 6 in a row, maybe 9 out of 10, and they're really hitting their stride. Mark Loving's playing great for them, but they're getting contributions from a lot of guys, and certainly it's in this league, you got to turn the page. Win or lose your last game, you got to turn the page. You got to get ready for the next one because you got a great team coming in.
What can you do about the slow starts? You've had a couple of recently.
Yeah, I mean, hopefully we can get off to a little bit better start. I thought our turnovers were really key in the last game. Those first 6 minutes, I think we had 6 turnovers in the Maryland game, which led them to get out and getting some easy baskets, and it got them that double-figure lead, and we really couldn't recover from that. So getting off to a good start is something we've talked about. We got to take care of the ball. We got to get good shots, and we got to make them. And it's definitely been something that has been discussed in our locker room, in our meetings, and we need to carry it out to the floor hopefully tomorrow.
You made some changes last year to get fast starts, didn't you?
Well, we're always tinkering around, with just things you do. I mean, how do you talk to them in the locker room? Music. How much do you give them? We had them standing up. I'm one to always, if I don't think things are going in the right way, I'm always looking to see how we can get better with those things. So we've
Tinkered yet this year yet?
We've tinkered a little bit. And we've had some decent starts, but none that I've loved, and especially at home. It's always good to get off to a good start because, like the other night, we had a great crowd in here, and if you can get off to a good start and get a little bit of a lead and kind of work your way into the game, both teams are a little bit nervous, a little bit anxious, and all of a sudden you're down 12-4 or 15-6, whatever it is, you're climbing uphill the whole game. So the game tomorrow, we're going to do everything we can to get off to a good start on both ends and hopefully play from in front as opposed to being behind.
Is shooting contagious, either pro or con?
It can be. I think it's like anything when everybody sees the shots going in, I think it carries over, and certainly when you're not making them, you can get a little bit tighter because it's not going in. For us, we had a tough shooting night last game, and I think a lot of it had to do with Maryland's defense. I thought their length bothered us. They're just a really big team, but they did a great job on Trey Demps, never really letting him get any clean looks. And they also did a great job on foul zone. We run a lot of stuff to try to get him shots, and they really chased him off the three-point line and made him be a driver. And it was great to see he got 8 free throws, which was big and kind of showed he can do other things. But a lot of that the other night I really credit to the defense Maryland played, and hopefully it'll be a good learning experience for us watching the film, how we can execute better and make life easier on ourselves by not turning the ball over and making the right decisions.
How do you counter that? You guys are going to, like you said, hug your three-point shooters.
Yeah.
Now you're going against a team that's has a big blocker underneath.
Yeah. Well, you have to. I mean, I thought we drove the ball well the other night,
right.
And we just didn't finish. If you look at the game, we feel confident if you're going to try to hug our shooters. We got guys who can get in there. We have finishers. Our big guys didn't make free throws when they got fouled. Sanjay had a couple layups in there. Taphorn had a couple layups. I thought Demps had 3 or 4 of those little flip shots that he normally makes. And like I said, if you finish those shots and you make them pay for doing that, then all of a sudden they're going to start helping, and now the threes are going to be open. So I thought our inability to finish when we did get in there was big, and we just have to do that. I mean, if they're going to take away our 3-point game, then we have to drive the ball, we have to get the ball inside, and we have to finish, get fouled, and find other ways to score.
So you don't mind so much that they take away the 3-pointer? They're playing the three.
Yeah, I mean, I obviously we're a team that's at our best when we're hitting threes. I mean, and teams know that. So there's going to be a point of emphasis to try to take that away the best they can. But I think with our guards, they've shown a great ability to break defenses down, get into the paint. We have to make good decisions, and then if guys aren't going to help as much, we've got to finish with our those whether it's those floaters by the guards or those dump-off shots that our big guys are getting or our wings, and we just have to do a better job of finishing. We didn't do that the other night, so I think the three-point shooting was more magnified. Really the other night, I think we took 58 shots. We only took 23s. I mean, Maryland took 31 threes out of 58 shots. So, I mean, our ratio was we shot a lot more twos than they did. We didn't get great looks at threes, and then we didn't finish great inside when we did get the ball in the paint.
Can you give us an update on Ola and talk a little bit about Derek Pardon's role?
Yeah, I mean, Ola's progressing. Still no timeline. He'll be out tomorrow, and then we'll just continue to go. He hasn't been back out to practice yet, but he's getting better. Hopefully sooner rather than later. We miss him, especially you go into these games with the big guys we're facing. So hopefully within the next week or two he'll be back. A lot of it, again, is just kind of based on symptoms and how he's feeling. So there's not a firm timeline with that. With Pardon, just, again, really, really pleased with how he's playing. I thought played a really good game against Maryland, was very active. He's battling really big guys down there, and his efficiency's been great. 4 or 5 from the floor. I think he had 8 points, 6 rebounds, couple blocks. The 28 and 12 is a little bit of an anomaly because he was very opportunistic and had a great game. I mean, that's not who he's going to be on a nightly basis, but it would be great to get him to double figures. And can he be a 12-point-a-game scorer? Sure. And with a handful of rebounds and some blocks and that kind of activity. And I thought Joey actually played his best game the other night. We got to get him hitting a better percentage at the line, but I just thought his activity, he had some great blocks at the basket. I thought he was very assertive. He's starting to feel a little bit better. He's playing more athletically, and he gave us 8 points. So really, we got 16 points out of that position, which for me, I'd be ecstatic about that. If we could get 16 a night from those two guys, to me that's great production, and then it's on our other guys to do their part.
How much has Pardon improved since he's come on campus?
A ton. He's always had great hands. He's always had a great knack for the ball. He's really improved his conditioning. He's really improved as an athlete since he's been here with our strength and conditioning staff. He's running better than he ever has. He's quicker off the floor. He's lost. He was a kid who was really heavy when he was young. It's probably hard to believe that, but he'll tell you, I think he was 30 to 35 pounds heavier as an 8th grader than he is now. So he's a kid who's really had to work on his body. He's slimmed down, obviously, with that length, and he's worked so hard to become the player he is, and that's why I know he's got a huge upside, because I see that work ethic every day.
How much of that development can you owe to Alex and Joey helping him out?
Huge. That's when you have older guys who can show you the way. That was big, and really that was the reason why we weren't playing him early, because it wasn't that I didn't think he could help us. I just didn't think it was going to be tough to get all three of those guys major minutes. And we wanted to invest in Derek because we knew how good he could become. And when the injuries occurred, it was just a situation where we had to throw him out there. And Alex and Joey, Derek practicing against those guys every day, it gives him a great approximation of what he's going to face in the Big Ten games. So that's why, to me, I didn't expect him to be as good as quick, but I didn't think he was going to be taken aback by the moment. I knew he'd be ready to play and would be prepared, and it's been awesome just to see how he's been able to jump in there, though, and to contribute the way he has.
He essentially played only one season of basketball when you offered.
Yeah, he was a football kid when he was younger, and his parents, actually, because he was so heavy set, his parents told him he needed to focus on football and being a lineman. And his love was basketball, though, and he told his dad, I'm gonna be a college basketball player. And
he had that growth spurt.
He had a growth spurt, but his dad wouldn't let him focus on basketball and mom until he got his first scholarship offer in basketball.
Right.
Because then they finally said, you know what, okay, I guess you are going to be a college basketball player. So he was a football guy. He had a growth spurt. He was heavy set. He's a late developer, and he's just worked his tail off. And I've always said about bigger guys, bigger guys that have a great will to get better are gonna rapidly improve, because a lot of guys who are that big play basketball because they're pushed into it, and they might like it, but do they truly love it? And Derek was a kid, the moment we saw him, you saw the passion he had, you saw the love, you saw the work. You said all of a sudden, if we could fast forward 4 or 5, we saw him as a sophomore in high school. fast forward 3, 4, 5 years down the line, what could this kid become? And we're starting to see that even maybe earlier than we thought.
He didn't play much though as a sophomore, right?
No, he started playing his junior year in high school was when he played. And he actually played with Carlton Bragg, who was a top 10 recruit who plays at Kansas. And so Carlton was the star player. They had another two other Division I guys in his starting lineup. So his high school coach texted me after the Nebraska game. He only had scored 20 points in a high school game twice, and his career high in high school was 22. So his high school coach was joking, he was holding him back in a big way, that he couldn't even get 20 in a high school game, and yet his first Big Ten game he gets 28. So that just goes to show you kind of who that kid's been and how fast he's gotten better.
The idea that he was willing to take a back seat as a senior to those other two kids.
Yeah.
What did that say to you about him?
Well, as we got to know him and his family, we knew the character was there. I mean, he's a winner. He was all about, with his high school team, all he wanted to do was win a state championship. And if that meant Carlton was going to be the headline guy and score the most points, and Derek had to rebound and block shots and do all the dirty work, he was going to do that. And it's funny how it works out, though, because they end up going to the state tournament as a senior and winning it, and Derek was the MVP. And so sometimes when you just go about the business the right way, and not against any of his other guys, but that's just who Derek's been. I mean, he's the ultimate winner, he's the ultimate competitor, and he wants to do anything to help his team win. And really, there's no better example. Derek had every reason to tell me he didn't want to play. I gave him the option with the red shirt. I mean, he'd missed 11 games. I told him the predicament we were in. I told him where we were at. I explained to him what I thought his role would be going forward for the rest of the year. And I told him, no, I'm not going to make you play because I've already held you out for 11 games. And I think it shows a lot about who that kid is, to not even hesitate and say, hey, my team needs me. I'm ready to go out there and help this team win. And he didn't even bat an eye on it. And to me, that shows who he is right there.
What about when you told him you were going to redshirt him? How did you react to that?
It was a great conversation, and he saw it. He got it. It was more about an investment. You're there every day. He's playing against two older guys that are good. And he knew Alex was a guy who'd been a 3-year starter. And if Alex is healthy, Alex is going to play high 20s, early 30s minutes. So now all of a sudden you're talking about between 10 to 12 minutes in a game. And now if you got Joey and Derek trying to split those minutes, I mean, do we really want to waste a year of eligibility, if he's going to be a small role player when we feel he had all league capabilities? I really felt that way over time, not now, but my feeling is as he gets older, he's going to be a kid that can be an all-league candidate. So why waste a year of his eligibility when we can invest, he can work, he can practice against those guys every day, get a feel for what this level is all about, and then come in next year as a freshman and have a chance to start right away. But it didn't go down like that. And maybe to me, things always happen for a reason. So he's going to maximize this opportunity now. He's going to be a big part of what we do from here on out the rest of the year, and hopefully now that'll even prepare him more for next year with life without Ola and Joey moving on as well.